People from all across the world are becoming addicted to text-to-image AI tech, and honestly, it's completely understandable why. I mean, for one, it literally works like magic. You just type some words in, and pretty much for better or for worse, it recreates exactly what you're asking it to create. Right now, the most popular text-to-image AI technology is Midjourney V4. It's an excellent model in my opinion. I've covered it many times on the channel in the past. I mean, if we just go ahead and scroll through the top community feed on Midjourney, we can see a lot of absolutely fantastic images here that have been created. But something you're also going to notice about Midjourney, let's take this example. Minimalist logo photography business in the Pacific Northwest, documents skiing, cycling, and natural earth colors. It creates a logo just fine here. The imagery is beautiful. However, when it comes to the text, yeah, that's definitely leaving something to be desired. Panel dull pearls. Yeah, I don't think that's real English. So Midjourney V4, the best of the best, the most popular, and it really just can't write, it can't spell. So ever since text-to-image AI's inception, we've been looking for one that can spell. And I mean, sometimes you will get lucky, I won't deny, like in this example. Now, we actually did see a model that can in fact spell, and this was last year where Google blessed this upon us, but of course would never let us use it for ourselves. This is Google's model known as Party, and here is Party at 350 million parameters. Maybe you can make out a few letters, but it can't really spell. 750 million parameters definitely still can't spell. 3 billion, we're almost getting there. We actually got a whole word right. It says friend. And over at 20 billion parameters, finally, Party was able to spell. So it was a really, exciting thing to see a model that actually could spell words out. As you can see, we've got more examples of this right here. Very deep learning written on a sign. And again, the 3 billion gets close, but no cigar. So Party's really cool and all, but we can't use it. We're not allowed to. Google won't unleash it upon us. Well, folks, that's where today's video gets especially exciting. There are a few models that we can get very excited for today, and there actually even is a model that you can try out today for yourself. So the first AI text-to-image generator that can spell that we're going to talk about today is another Google one. So of course, no, we can't access this one. But there's promise that we will be able to access it in the future. This is very similar to Google's Imagen/Party that we just talked about, and the fact that it can actually spell very well. It's a text-to-image generator, and it seems like it's pretty coherent and pretty good at what it does. As you can see, these results here look pretty fantastic and very promising. Now, the most interesting part about this is that Google is claiming here that they're achieving state-of-the-art image generation performance, so producing really good images that have words that actually make sense, spelling. It's a completely different way of doing text-to-image. It's a masked modeling task in discrete token space. Oh, what does that even mean? So the text that you actually type into this model is extracting the information out of a large language model and using that to predict randomly masked image tokens. I mean, I barely understand this myself, but Google says compared to pixel space diffusion models, like you would see with their previous Imagen, which we just talked about, or DALL-E 2, Muse is significantly more efficient than those models. It requires less generation time, and supposedly it's also more efficient because it's using parallel decoding. The pre-trained large language model that is attached to Muse enables it to understand the language that you're inputting it a lot better. So basically, this thing is a lot more efficient than something like DALL-E 2 while achieving the same results or better results, like the ability to spell, which DALL-E 2 cannot. But it's also got a few other tricks up its sleeve. Zero-shot, mask-free editing. Essentially, this iteratively resamples image tokens conditioned on a text prompt to edit whatever image you already produced with the model. So here's the original, and then we can say cat wearing a tie, or a dog, or a pig even. And you sort of get the point here. You can also use it to edit things like change exactly the type of food that is next to this latte, while still retaining a lot of the detail that was originally in the latte, or even the background of certain photos like New York versus Paris versus San Francisco. Or you can add in some hot air balloons or completely change the color of leaves around a gazebo. And they also have a little diagram of how exactly this thing works. So for all of you nerds out there, this is under the hood. So yes, as you guys can see, Google is still making really big strides towards text-to-image technology. They really do see some value in it for sure. And this one really is the most practical version of text-to-image that we've seen from Google. So maybe, just maybe, we'll actually be able to access this one for ourselves at this point. After all, Google is allowing users to test their Lambda model with the Google AI Test Kitchen app on your phone. So maybe we will see this one added to your phone as well. However, in much more exciting news in my opinion, a company known as Deepfloyd AI, and they work, by the way, in partner with Stability AI, the creators of the open source Stable Diffusion text-to-image model, have just announced a model that they call IF. Now, this model is pretty incredible, and I am very excited for it. As you can see on Twitter here, they've done some examples of IF. This example right in the top left-hand corner, we can do it, very clear spelling. I mean, this looks like you just typed this in with Photoshop or something. Some very nice text up here as well saying this is not DALL-E. I mean, a very intricate font as well, spelling it really accurately. The letters aren't messed up at all. It looks fantastic. And then again, here is Deepfloyd coming out of a book with like these grassy, crazy looking letters, which are super exciting to see. And as we can see, "Be a Party of the Future" is spray painted onto a wall here in this image. Very intriguing. All these examples look really great, and it seems to be doing text extremely well. What's even more exciting is the way Deepfloyd announced it. They did a little poem here. "If I were a swan, I'd be rainbow colored. If I were a train, I'd be intergalactic. If I were a model, I'd be open source." So what's even more exciting is that this model that can spell and seems to be extremely coherent is apparently going to be open source. So not only will you be able to use it and test it out for free, it's likely going to have free variants on certain websites, just like Stable Diffusion has. So yeah, powerful AI for all, indeed. Very exciting. And we've got a few more examples to look at here. I believe this is supposed to be Johnny Depp. It says Mage Journey right down there. Again, they're hinting at all of the other AIs. NVIDIA rocks, but Deepfloyd jazz. This one says SD2 on a wine glass. And again, this is a reference to their little poem here, rainbow colored swan, and this is an intergalactic train. And yeah, I'd say all of these images do look pretty darn good indeed. The text is just absolutely blowing me away, honestly. I can't wait to test this thing out, and open source, even better. We've got some more examples of IF in action. Again, this thing is not released yet. 4K DSLR photo of a rainbow owl with deer horns in the woods. Very vibrant photo, obviously, because it is a rainbow owl. He's got the deer horns. Seems to be doing a pretty darn good job at understanding the prompt. And by the way, folks, if you want to stay up to date on Deepfloyd and this new IF model that apparently is going to be open source for all, I will link their Discord down in the description so you can keep up to date with it. Here's another one with very good spelling. Marilyn Monroe holding a sign that says, "I stand with Ukraine." So Lion also uploaded something, and of course they work closely with Stability AI, who is partnered with Deepfloyd. I love Lion, and it's a little lion plushie with that on the shirt. Really fantastic generation, man. Robin Rombach, again, another example of a very similar image. It even has a little heart in there like a real plushie would. So honestly, this just cannot get any more exciting. I suggest you guys check out the Discord if you want to stay up to date with this one. And we've got one more to talk about today. Now, this is a model you can actually use for free yourself today. This model is known as Karlo. It's been known to be able to produce text accurately, but obviously it's not necessarily shown off as doing that, obviously, on their website here. But I have tested this one myself, and I have been able to get some pretty simple words out of this one that are completely coherent, which is really great to see. The best part is this one's completely free for you to test out. You can download their app for iOS and Android here. It's called Discover. Kind of a weird name for an app, honestly, but the images are pretty reminiscent of something like DALL-E 2, I would say. However, it doesn't have the same restrictive filters as DALL-E 2, and it actually uses a very similar architecture to DALL-E 2. But honestly, it is a really good model, as you guys can see from these examples. It's very competitive. It's probably better than DALL-E 2 at this point, and yeah, it can spell sometimes. And the app is completely free for you to generate as many images as you want for the time being. It is important to note, though, it's still only in an alpha version, and a full release is coming soon. If you guys want to just try the model completely raw, you can do it on Hugging Face, which I will link down below, and this is also completely free. And a quick test here actually does yield some pretty decent results. My prompt here was a kangaroo holding a sign that says hello, and it gets pretty close in a lot of these. Obviously this one right here, missing one L, but you know, you can read hello. Again, pretty close here, hello, wello, keo, and finally this one right in the middle, pretty much got it right, just an extra L here, it says hello, and it's clearly the kangaroo holding the sign. So yeah, it's a pretty decent model for sure, especially for completely free. Definitely very competitive with something like DALL-E, and DALL-E is pretty expensive, as we know. Photograph of a turtle wearing a top hat. Most of these aren't really getting it, but some of them are pretty close. Like this one's not too bad, this one's also not too bad. Definitely an interesting model to test out for free, and let me know if you guys get any great spelling out of it. It really seems like it's a prompt by prompt thing, and you kind of have to get lucky to get it right, but it can spell sometimes. If you do generate anything cool with Karlo, please send it to my Discord, which is linked down below. We have a great community on there, and we would love to see your images. Well, folks, let me know what you guys are most excited for. Personally, that IF model by Deepfloyd is really intriguing. Open source as well. It seems like the future of text-to-image is looking pretty bright. Hopefully this year we will be using models that can fully spell as well as the IF model. Check out the Discord, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.